in Kansas. Joe, you're live with Eric and V. What would you like to talk about today?
Hi, guys. Give me just a second. I'm on speaker.
Okay.
Hi, Eric. Hi, V.
Hello. Ooh, that sounds much better, too. Nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all good. But what do you want to talk about? What's up?
So I am, as cliche as this sounds, I'm sure, I am like somewhere in between theist and atheist. I suppose the closest thing I come to is deist, but I don't hold all of their beliefs. So, one thing that I have noticed I've watched Atheist Experience a bunch, only just kind of found Talk Heathen maybe 6 months ago.
Welcome.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about some views that I have seen from certain atheist people a lot on the Atheist Experience. Not so much on Talk Heathen, but that's because I've only been watching it for a little while. Certain views regarding hell, specifically the Christian version of hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad consistently referring to Atheist Experience here, but this is something that I mainly hear from Matt Dillahunty, Jeff D, and Russell. And it's, anytime I have heard any of them be told by a caller, if you don't believe you're going to hell, they both become furious at being told that. And that's honestly something that confuses me, because I do not believe in hell at all. And the reason it confuses me is, if you don't believe that something exists, why would you be angry at someone telling you you're going there? Like, if someone tells me I'm going to Hogwarts, I'm not excited about that because it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, so I think there are two parts to that, man. The first, I think you probably relate to more, and that is it doesn't believe. I don't believe, so I'm not really scared of a thing that I don't believe, which is understandable. The other side of it is the judgment piece. And I think that there's a fair number of people who will say, hey, you know what, you're espousing these views and you're saying, oh, they come from your God, but I don't believe in your God. So they're coming from you. And if you are telling me I'm going to hell, then it's kind of putting a bit of onus on them and saying, hey, do you think that's a right thing? Do you think that is an okay thing? And why am I worthy of eternal torment? Mm-hmm. It's not so much that I'm angry or upset about the place itself, as much as it is the just passively going, oh yeah, no, you're going to go and suffer for eternity.
Right.
And there's just a lot of nuance to it, because I think that there are a lot of believers who don't make that connection. And so they will say, hey, you're going to go to hell, but maybe they haven't thought about it fully. Maybe they're not recognizing just how heinous of a thing that is. And so I think that there are a lot of different tactics that people have to try and make people think about that. And sometimes anger is one way to do it. Other times, maybe just talking about it like this is. But I think it takes all approaches. So I think the approach that they take is valid, but not because they're actually afraid of the hell place as much as it is the judgment. What do you think, V?
Yeah, I think you're spot on. Not only are they saying implicitly that I am interacting with you, but I am also making a judgment claim about you as a person, and whether or not you deserve a happy ending. No pun intended. That's for secular sexuality. Hey! But no, and in addition to that, they're also saying, and the God that is going to put you there is somebody that I admire, someone that I love, someone I believe in, someone you should believe in. So it's a two-part thing. It's not just I believe this is your fate. It's also I support the person who's going to inflict that upon you. So again, like Eric said, there isn't a lot of the time that viewpoint that is fully being expressed for the theist. So the theist might not understand that that is what they are implicitly saying, because to them it's just by rote, right? They just have heard this their whole lives and are repeating it to you, often out of a place of actual concern, often out of a place of, hey, I want better for you than what I think you're going to get. But to somebody who has really analyzed the background and the implications, it is difficult to see it in a way that is not insulting or demeaning.
Sure. And I'll admit I hadn't considered the onus aspect of it, like Eric said. The idea that because I don't believe, in your God who is supposedly sending me to hell, then that means it's not God, but rather you, the person I'm talking to, who thinks I'm going to hell. So I guess I hadn't quite made that connection.
Sure, absolutely. But man, that is a really good question, because I could absolutely see that. And, there's so much tied into it too, because where you're at is such a lucky place. Like knowing that that hell doesn't exist and not being afraid of it is something that a lot of us who come out of religion spend a lifetime trying to get over. I mean, it is wild how many people wrestle with that. And so good on you, man.
Well, it was, I suppose I have the benefit of being raised in a fairly secular household.
Yeah.
We went to a very casual, very calm Methodist church for the first 14 or so years of my life.
That sounds nice.
And,
Right.
and I grew up in a town of less than 500 people, and it was very communal. So,
that sounds awesome.
That was, but all the same, first learning about, the supposed Christian hell, direct, fire and brimstone, I can still recall, learning about that, being probably 6 at like the earliest memories, and having scared thoughts of it as a young child. But just because of how casual my family was about religion, it was something that I guess I had the benefit of being able to cast off pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point too, Joe, bringing that up, the kind of childhood indoctrination portion of this. Another reason that I know I will get upset if somebody lobs "you're going to hell" at me, especially on air where other people can hear, is that we get callers all the time who have deconverted but still are plagued by this fear of hell and have been abused in a sense into thinking that this was a thing that they deserved, a thing that they had to be afraid of and look forward to. So it's not just an anger on my part, how dare you think that about me? A lot of it stems from concern for those people who I know are listening to me and watching this conversation, and being concerned about how they're going to receive that and how to best facilitate their continued deconversion.
Right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that helps, though.
Yeah, it does.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I'm glad that you found the show, and I hope you keep watching. Thank you for calling in, brother.
Yep. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you. Take care.